Some of you guys may already know, the NBA draft type is no joke. Constantly we see players rise and fall all over the draft boards with no true knowledge of knowing where these players are going. We see players turn into stars and we see other players, well, they don't exactly fill out their career path that was best for them. And it's unfortunate, but it's part of what makes the NBA so exciting. And it's part of why we love this game. Some players, they may have all of the talent and none of the work ethic, while others come into the league hungry, with a chip on their shoulder and a desire to show the world what they can do through hard work and perseverance. Motivation is no joke, and it shouldn't be treated like one. As people, we all have different things that drive us, and those things that drive us, regardless of what anybody says, are important. I feel like Jimmy Butler had one of the best stories of all time, coming into the league and rising to stardom. He's one of my favorite players, and I'll be sure to do a Miami Heat video soon. To touch back on the risers and fallers of the NBA draft, I've seen LaMelo mocked anywhere from first to the end of the first round. It's really hard to find a player whose spectrum is as broad as LaMelo's. Everybody has a different opinion on where LaMelo should go, but I think finally we may be getting some clarity on what truly to expect on the day of the NBA draft. LaMelo has had a very interesting career so far. A lot of it was overshadowed by the dominance of LaVar Ball, and for everything that LaVar lacked, I think LaVar did in fact do a good job of helping his kids reach the next level. This is somebody that put in the time and put in the effort to prove to the world that his kids are very good basketball players and deserve to play at the highest level. You guys may have seen the LiAngelo news that I posted yesterday on my channel. That is major news. There's a lot of people that are throwing that news under the bus, but the fact of the matter is that that is pretty serious stuff. And then you look at what went on with Lonzo Ball. This is somebody that was dominant in high school, that played at UCLA, was one of the top recruits in the entire nation, became one of the top picks in the NBA draft, and showcased everything he had to show in college. Now, at the NBA level, he hasn't been the most consistent of players, but we've seen time and time again what Lonzo Ball can do. And then we have LaMelo. Melo is possibly the most talented ball brother, and let's just say Melo is so talented, he was just offered a $100 million contract. But before we get into that, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, guys. You will not want to miss another D-Coop video. And that's facts. I'm trying to get to 200,000 subscribers so I can go full time and bring you guys daily content. So be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. A huge shout out to everybody that has been supporting the channel, from Noti Gang to just stopping by and viewing my videos. I truly do appreciate that. I told you guys that I see your requests in the comments on what videos you guys want to see, and I take those very seriously. So if you guys don't want something, I'm probably not going to try to do that video. So be sure to let me know if you guys want to see that football channel and what videos you guys want to see down in the comments below. Also, I might do some live streams where I just do like Q&A type stuff in the future, possibly on Twitch or maybe on another platform. But be sure to follow my IG handle, G-Like-Coop. You will not want to miss another post. So we have LaMelo Ball, this very polarizing prospect that has all of the tools to be truly elite at the next level. He's a creative ball handler that's crafty in the lane. He's a playmaker, but he's much more than just a playmaker. Some of the passes that LaMelo sees reminds me of his brother Lonzo Ball, who is also an elite passer, and we'll touch more on Lonzo in just a second. But LaMelo has that same high-level passing ability, if not better, and he's also able to get into the lane with ease. It's like defenders shed off of LaMelo when he drives to the basket. This is somebody that's that hard to stay in front of. I think where LaMelo truly separates himself is the ability to score the basketball. This is somebody that's an absolute bucket and can score in many different ways. And this is something we've seen from every level from LaMelo Ball. He's been playing pros for the longest of times, and people will look at the NBL and think that it's not as good as college basketball, but in my opinion, I think the NBL is far better and I don't think it's close. The NBL is a very physical league, which has former NBA players, and it also has players who are really good at the college basketball level. And let's not forget players on national teams that have made runs at winning everything. My point to you guys is I think LaMelo is in a really good spot, and playing in the NBL could give him experience that he might not be able to find anywhere else. When you look at LaMelo, a lot of people make the comparisons to Lonzo, and Lonzo himself will even tell you, as Lonzo was quoted saying, "Melo has a chance to be better than me for sure. I feel at the same age, he's better than me. In real time, I don't think he's better than me." Zoe went on to say, "But I'm the big brother, so I'm always going to have that edge over him." Now that brings up a debate. Do you guys think that Lonzo is currently better than Melo, or is Melo already better than Lonzo Ball? And of course, Melo has been on record saying that he's already better than Lonzo. These are two really good basketball players, and Zoe has been hot as of late. But the debate can be real. I think it's no contest though that everybody believes LaMelo is going to be a better long-term prospect than Lonzo. But again, the question I'm asking you guys is right now, who would you take for your team? Again, I think Melo's NBL experience is huge. And speaking of the NBL, we have some major news for LaMelo Ball. Corey Williams, a commentator in the NBL, came out and posted this tweet. "Breaking news, a source close to me in the USA has just told me Melo has been offered a $100 million contract and a private jet to sign a sneaker endorsement deal. With an offer like this, no way he isn't going number 1 in the 2020 NBA draft." Now, immediately when I saw this news, the first thing I did was head over to NBAdraft.net. This is one of my favorite sites to get draft news from, and I went over and I looked at the mocks. I also think this is one of the most accurate mock draft sites. I saw that James Wiseman had dropped down to 3rd overall. Before, I thought that James Wiseman would be somewhat of a unanimous number 1 overall pick by many sites, because that's what it seemed like. I saw so many sites mocking James Wiseman number 1 that I thought he would hold his value for a very long time. But with the news of him pulling out of the NCAA, I feel like some teams are going to be turned away from Wiseman and are going to be nervous on what he's doing and what he can bring to the table, which is somewhat silly to think about, because I do think that Wiseman is still going to produce regardless of where he is picked. He is an absolutely elite prospect with high upside. But LaMelo Ball has jumped Wiseman, and Anthony Edwards has been moved to number 1 on NBAdraft.net. Now, the thing is that LaMelo Ball has a very legit chance of going number 1. I think his time in the NBL has been turning more and more heads. And of course, not long ago, like a month or so ago, we saw ESPN drop a report that LaMelo could be the number 1 pick in the 2020 NBA draft. Now, at the time, I felt like LaMelo should be the number 1 overall pick, but I felt like a lot of that news was speculation and not exactly going off of what a lot of teams were feeling at the time. But here's where this $100 million deal comes into play. You get an offer like this, and like Corey Williams said, it is almost a guarantee that you are going number 1 in the 2020 NBA draft. I feel like, again, LaMelo's done nothing but pick up steam since his time in the NBL. And again, if LaMelo does go 1st overall and this deal is real, then I think we will start to see more and more players opt to skip the NCAA and to go overseas, or perhaps take a year off like James Wiseman is now doing, like Darius Bazley did. And these players are going to use this year, or they're going to use this time in other leagues to work on their game or get experience that they wouldn't have gotten at the NCAA level. A lot of times coaches don't always have what's best for you in their interests, so you have to find a program, you have to find a team that's going to work with you to become the best version of yourself. And this is already a trend that we've seen growing. We've seen a lot of players now, I feel, start to go overseas, start to take perhaps the Brandon Jennings route and to earn their money while also preparing themselves for the NBA. My thing is that a lot of players that have went overseas and played bad have not exactly seen their draft stock plummet. Personally, I don't think Brandon Jennings was good overseas, and I also don't think Terrence Ferguson was good in the NBL, but he did get valuable experience and he filled his role well. Let's also keep in mind when talking about LaMelo's possible shoe deal that Zion Williamson just signed a major deal with Jordan not long ago, and I think this deal was about $75 million, and it was supposed to be one of the largest rookie deals in the history of the entire NBA. I know Zion could have got over $10 million a year from another brand, but I'm just saying that this is serious news. Let me know where you guys want to see LaMelo Ball drafted and what you think would be the best team for LaMelo. Honestly, I'm warming up to him becoming a New York Knick. I think him and RJ Barrett getting the Garden jumping again would be fun. Be sure to click the video on the screen right now, guys. It's me going over the Golden State Warriors trying to trade for Karl Anthony Towns. Be sure to subscribe. Notice on. I'm D Coop. I'm out.